Arizona sports, the local sports leader. This is Santan Ford's Activate the Valley, presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Arizona State's official sports headquarters, and Santan Ford. We are Santan Ford.
Yep, Sun Devils, Oklahoma State Cowboys tomorrow from Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, a game you can hear here on Arizona Sports. And joining us for his weekly visit, the head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils, Kenny Dillingham, here on Bickley Marotta Mornings. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I missed earlier today. I was trapped in my office watching film, and I looked up, and I'm like, holy cow, it's 7:35. This isn't good.
That's quite all right. It's quite all right. Now, let's face facts. Your first game as a collegiate head coach was about one of the weirdest ones that will ever be on record in college football. I know you didn't want to use the weather delay as an excuse, but now that we're a week removed from it, you've had a chance to watch all that review film on the Southern Utah game. What did you like the most? What did you like the least about your team's performance?
Yeah, I liked the way in the first half we played clean football. You know, we had one penalty in the first half. And it was a targeting on a quarterback for lowering a helmet, and that was it. So I love the fact that, week one, new staff, new players, and we played clean football. And on top of that, the next favorite thing I liked was the effort our guys played with. I thought our guys played the game hard. Things I didn't like was communication. I thought too many times offensively we didn't see the correct signal, and it caused us to get aligned wrong, which caused us to run a play that isn't schematically sound. And then defensively, throughout the motions and shifts, we didn't always do a great job communicating, and it got people open on third down. So those would be the two things that I would say that I liked and that I didn't like.
I thought Jaden Rashada was really good at moments in the first half, and obviously he struggled mightily to get a rhythm in the second half. And yet I was touched by how his teammates went out of their way to kind of gas him up for a kid making his first start to kind of navigate that game and the delay and get the thing to the finish line. What do you expect Saturday from your quarterback?
Yeah, I expect him to go out there and play the game like he played the first half last week. Be confident and be aggressive. And being aggressive does not mean being stupid. It just means don't be scared to make the throw you can make. So that's what I expect from him, is the confidence that he had in the first half of that game. I think he was 13 of 17 for 150, maybe 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, which is an incredible start to a college football career. That's what I expect.
Well, we were talking about Jaden and his performance on the show here, Coach, and one of the things that stood out to us was in that first half, the 2 touchdown throws, one of them coming on a 4th down play where you got no safety net and airs it out and puts it on a dime. And even, right before the end of the half on the short touchdown pass, the 3-yarder, time is an issue there. If things don't go well, you might not have time for a field goal. That's got to make you feel great as a coach for a true freshman making his first start, that he was able to just thread the needle on those 2 throws.
No doubt. I mean, if you're scared, get a dog. But we're not. We're going to be aggressive. So I think he bought into what we're trying to do, and that's be aggressive. And we're going to try to win football games and be the attackers when we take the field. And that's not going to work at times too. It's not always going to work out like that. But you have to play this game the way college or football is played nowadays. Is you have to be aggressive. You cannot play the game scared.
No doubt about that. All right, I'm curious your thoughts on what the fans might provide to you this weekend. I know you kind of reached out again and said, come on, let's get this place rocking a little bit. I thought, you had a good showing from your students. You generally get that in the first game of the season. How important is this going to be? Because athletes need that energy. We know that.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, getting everybody out there, not only – for our own guys and the competitive advantage in the game of getting this place rocking and loud is, they play 3 different quarterbacks, and they're going to hear 3 different cadences, or they're going to go on a clap cadence. So for us to be loud and make the O-linemen hear different cadences through the crowd noise, right, is a huge advantage for us. And then if they go on the clap cadence, us being loud kind of wavers out the clap a little bit. So that's a huge advantage for us. And then we have a bunch of big-time recruits from the state that are going to be here. And I know people who live in the state, people who come here, would love nothing more than to get kids from the Valley to come to school here. And we have a whole bunch of really good players that are going to be here, and they need to see the environment. They need to see that ASU football is heading in the right direction, not just from a football and a coaching and standpoint, but the Valley's getting behind it. So I think it's bigger than just this game. It's building the program. We need people to be there to build this program the way I want it to be built.
Kenny Dillingham, the head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils, activate the Valley every Friday here on Bickley and Marotta mornings. You mentioned the three quarterbacks. They all got substantial playing time for Oklahoma State last week in their win over Central Arkansas. And preparing for two can be quite a bear. How much of a challenge is that defensively to prepare for three different quarterbacks? And they've got, I'm not an expert on Oklahoma State football, but how different are they stylistically from each other in your preparation?
So they're all fairly similar. Obviously, some of them throw more underneath throws. Some of them throw the ball vertically down the field a little bit more. But schematically, they're going to do the same thing. So it's not like you're facing, back in the day, the Taylor Kelly and then Michael Eubank. For Arizona State fans to put a reference to. It's not like you're facing two different players that are going to go in there and run two different schemes. You're facing three guys that are all going to go in there and execute the same scheme. May they execute that scheme differently? Yes, but it will still be the same scheme. So we're not having to prepare for two different styles of play. We just have to understand who's on the field and what their strengths and weaknesses are, and maybe call the game a little bit differently based off of who's on the field.
Is it a cool thing to vibe on how well the Pac-12 did in Week 1, given all the stuff that transpired in the offseason? And is it creating a good kind of pressure that, okay, we've got to keep up with everybody else in this conference this weekend?
Yeah, this league is probably, I think, the best it's been since the, Pete, 15 years, 12 years. I mean, the league is at a high right now. The teams in this league are at a high right now. The quarterback play in this league is at a high right now. And it just puts a lot of pressure on everybody to raise their game because there are no gimmies when you get into conference play. Not one. And in years past, there has been, and there's not right now. So you better be focused week to week and keep up with the Joneses because this is a really tough league.
Talking with Kenny Dillingham, the head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils here on Arizona Sports. To play Rewind again, because it was such a unique story, and I know you came out, Coach, afterwards and said, look, during the weather delay, you had a lot of players taking advantage of the time to catch up on their schoolwork with assignments due on Friday. I'm guessing you didn't have any assignments due on Friday. How much were you jonesing to get back on the field, especially in your first game? How did you pass the time personally?
Yeah, I mean, I passed the time looking at the Weather Channel app and seeing a lightning strike and then counting 30 more minutes and then seeing another lightning strike and counting 30 more minutes.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's literally was 2.5 straight hours of just hoping lightning doesn't strike. And that was really it because you can't keep guys. We started warm-ups at 5:55. So when your quarterbacks are warming up at 5:55, they ate pregame meal at 4-ish. How do you keep them engaged for 8 hours, 9 hours, and how do you keep them loose? So I think that was something that I learned about is, before we took the field leading up to it, I probably got our guys overly hyped and not refocused. And that's a mistake and a bad calculation on my end is I just need to keep guys focused if I get in that scenario again, not overly hyped.
And coming out of that game, injury-wise, I know you held out Jalen Conyers and said he's okay to go. I mean, health-wise, how does your team look going into Oklahoma State?
Yeah, we look good. I mean, we get CJ Fight back, which is awesome. Which he's a big-time player for us inside. It's a true freshman, coming from Texas. So getting him back is good, and everybody else is fairly healthy. We have a couple guys that are dinged up that'll be game day decisions, but other than that, we've been fairly healthy.
Well, Coach, thanks for
good luck, Coach.
Checking in. We appreciate it. Best of luck, and we will talk to you next Friday.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right, Kenny Dillingham, the head coach, activating the Valley, the head coach of Arizona State.